The collective energy around us right now feels really transformative. It's the underworld beckoning as Pluto transitions into Aquarius. We're going to just touch briefly on how this is going to affect us and what underlying tones are going to be in place for the next 20 years. So right now it feels like we are shedding layers. And this could be because Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It is the planet of transformation and is the underworld. Now, it's an intense energy. It's full of secrets, sexuality, power, communication, control, courage, and strength. It also represents the subconscious, and it can bring new perspectives into view. Although it's an intense energy, it's also subtle, as it's the furthest planet from the sun. I liken it to music playing in the background. It kind of sets the tone. Right now we have Pluto, death and rebirth, so we can expect a lot of beginnings and endings, but what does it really mean? I mean, to answer this, we really need to look at, well, what's it mean being in Aquarius? Well, Aquarius is the planet of innovation, equality, and revolution. And Pluto in Aquarius has the potential to redefine power structures and lead to more freedom, equality, and is more prevalent. But Aquarius is an air sign, and I often equate it to the King of Swords in Tarot. Very solution-oriented, driven by data, truth, and reconciliation. In Tarot, this king can be considered disattached and a little cold. But this is often due to, multitasking, very science-oriented, very justice-driven, very justice-driven thought process and action-oriented king. Now, this sign quickly cuts out anything that does not work. It's not going to prolong anything that is not working out. Very solution-oriented. We had a small brief look into it when Pluto dipped into Aquarius. It was March through June 11th, 2023, I think. And then it transitioned back into Capricorn. So if you journal, you might want to look back and see what was going on during that time period. If you don't journal, I suggest you do. It kind of helps. But collectively, this energy is known for revolution and breaking out of old dated systems. And, to understand this energy, all you have to do is look back. And if you go back to the time period of 1777 through 1798, you're going to find that was the time period of the French and the American Revolution. So this gives credence to people finding their voices, uprising, courage, strength, and power during this time. So when this transit takes place, it usually takes place with an historical event to mark it. So I believe we've been witnessing or experiencing some of this build-up energy getting ready for this transit, especially here in the United States with the election. You had some of the results, marking history with the electoral and the popular votes, being won, both of them being won by a Republican. And the people spoke up, and they are indicating, they're reclaiming their power. So here in the United States, we are already getting a glimpse into what is coming. A lot of endings and beginnings. So we're definitely going to be shedding layers. And it kind of reminds me of, this can be a bumpy time period. It reminds me of, how a snake sheds its skin. The snake sheds completely, but it needs something sharp to aid in removing the skin. And it has to be careful around the eyes, because if it's not done correctly, it could result in loss of vision. So if right now we're in a year of 8, and I've said this a lot, we're in a year of 8, and we're rounding out this year, we're getting close to the end, and 8 represents, balance and karma, and it's taking and showing us everything that we need to work on, because the year of 9 in 2025 represents endings, and wouldn't you know, we've got Pluto running in the background, endings and beginnings. So I expect a lot of, fast, jarring endings in 2025. But it's also going to lead to new ways and new beginnings. It's not going to be anything that's going to be prolonged. It's definitely going to have that King of Swords energy. So no worries. It's like I said earlier, it's like music playing in the background. Some of us may not really get involved in what's transpiring on the world stage and just flow with the changes that are coming about, but we won't be able to escape the songs that are being played in our personal lives. I really suggest journaling during this time period, or journaling period. It's a great tool, and it also helps you to look back, especially through some of the planetary transits that are going to be taking place, and it just helps you get your bearings and know where you're heading. Be open to new perspectives and lead with your heart and follow your passions. Now, I'm really interested in knowing what your theme songs are for 2024 and what you're going to start 2025 out with. Shoot me an email, drop comments below. You can find all my information in the description box. I would really love to know what your playlist is going to look like. So my November began with Bridges Burn, sung by Paul Alton, and it ends with Muse by The Proms. And I have to admit, I'm currently listening to that new song by Night Traveler, Vampires. I'm kind of hooked on it right now. But I really am interested in seeing what it is that you will be playing for the month of November. Shoot me an email on that. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to pull an oracle of what we can expect for the ending of 2024. So bear with me. All right, we are pulling the oracle card from the Wild Mystic Oracle. And what we pulled to represent now through the end of the year is the Vulture, Consume. Now, this card represents the union of life and death, keeping in line with Pluto, consuming that which has died in order to live. Many of the mythologies surrounding the vulture are in opposition to one another. While the ancient Egyptians associated the bird with life-giving, fertility, protection, and feminine deities, the ancient Greeks and Romans associated the bird with war, destruction, ill omen, and masculine deities. The vulture card may be asking you to confront your own duality, or how the opposites within yourself complement you as a whole. As a carrion bird, the vulture is fundamentally linked to death, but it is through their scavenging that they feed themselves and their young. Just as death of one creature nourishes the life of another, remember that we are three-dimensional, imperfect beings made up of negative and positive traits. Our shadow may nourish our light as we learn and accept our own imperfections. The vulture has often used as an agent of vengeance in Greek myths, such as the vulture, through some translations also state the eagle. That's interesting. Who tortured Prometheus at Zeus' behest. Vengeance as an emotion can consume and must be kept in check. This card asks you to take care that vengeance and overwhelming negative emotions do not consume you, and find the balance between light and dark. The shadow reading of this is that this card represents a conclusion that is difficult to swallow, either about those around you or about yourself. There may be a conflict or contradiction that is not easy to resolve right now, or hypocrisy that you've discovered that unsettles you. Sit with this discovery and allow it to digest. So that describes perfectly what we've got going on in the month of November, and will carry us through inauguration, actually through January. We have different polarities right now on the world stage, and some of them are eating their own, so that was pretty fitting. So what I wanted to do was pull an angel card, and we got the angel of stress, and the angels are saying you have drawn this because your angel of stress wants to shower you with calmness and peace. Sometimes you can become so caught up in your life that you forget to take a breath and let stress simply wash away. Your angel of stress is here to assist you to recenter your soul and bring calmness back into your life. When you allow stress to control your life, you lose connection with your spiritual insight and awareness. Problems can manifest within your body as illness and pain. Your angel of stress has stepped in to show you how to look at life from a different perspective. Instead of regarding the tensions and challenges that are placed before you as negatives, look at this time of stress as a period of learning and understanding. Ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me? Is it challenging you to listen to your guides before making a decision? Is it suggesting that you need to be more organized and focused in certain areas of your life? Ask your angel of stress what you need to change. Now look at the stressful situation and visualize that the issue is already resolved. Feel the angel of stress lift this weight from your shoulders. Know in your heart that whatever stress begins to build up and affect your mind, body, and spirit, that your angel of stress is only a thought away. All you need to do is ask for assistance. The affirmation is, I no longer allow stress to control my life. I see stress as a journey that guides me to a higher understanding of myself. I allow myself to take time out to sit and recenter when I feel stress affecting me. I am now stress-free and at peace. So what this is saying is, sometimes we have to separate ourselves from the issue at hand and find our peace with it, center, refocus, and look at it as if it's already been resolved, and find that peace. Don't dwell, find the peace. And as everything is going to be a little bit chaotic, for the next couple of months, I believe that affirmation from the angel of stress, you may want to keep this on your playlist. Speaking of playlists, you may want to find the write-up in my blog on Daughters of Merlin that will is the written version of this video concerning the shedding of layers of skin, because that's what we're doing right now. We're shedding some of our beliefs, and we're seeing some of the things that, the polarities come out versus, Republicans, Democrats, and even libertarians. And we've got a lot of new things coming that's being put on our plates. And, some of us are celebrating and some of us are not celebrating. And, some of us are actually seeing that, wait a minute, things might not be going exactly the way we thought they would. So, I think there's going to be a lot of curves, a lot of turns, and I really think it's going to show a lot of different sides. So keep that angel of stress affirmation with you, because you may need it. And like I said, this is all, a lot of it, if you separate yourself, it's just going to be music in the background. Would really love to know what your playlist is. Check out my website at daughtersofmerlin.com and send me an email. The information is in the description box. Send me an email and let me know what your playlist is going to be from the end of November, at least through January, through the inauguration. Looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for visiting my channel, and I appreciate you all.